Hello Crafty Mavens, this is Kelly Oblak. I'm bringing you my very first process video for the channel, and I'm so thrilled to be part of the design team. This is the beautiful inspiration piece that we're working with this week, and I'll tell you more about it as we go along. Since it's Scraplift Saturday, this is the layout I'll be lifting. It's from Glitter Girl for 2Ps. Unfortunately, the link to this layout no longer works. You may be able to find it on the 2Ps channel though if you have that link. Today I'll be scrapping a photo of a gorgeous sunset from northern Wisconsin. I was really inspired by the gold in all of the bread and other tones of warm colors in the inspiration piece. So I pulled that piece of Kaiser Craft, a touch of gold paper, and it's called Gleam. The other thing, because there's so much beautiful navy, I decided to frame that layout, or frame the entire layout with that piece of navy dot vellum from Basil. Now I'm cutting out the center of this piece of paper because I'm also going to use that as a large photo mat, or even a mat for all of the embellishment, most of the embellishment anyway. And that was inspired because of all the navy in the layout, but there are some polka dots in the cups in the image, so that really inspired me to use that as well. Now I'm going along, and right now I'm just trimming off the edge of that. The other thing I did forget to tell you is, as I'm turning this now, I'm turning that paper vertically, and one of the reasons I'm doing that is in the inspiration image there's some tassels, and you really see the lines where the tassels are hanging down. So that vertical line of the paper is taken from that as well. That's one of the reasons I decided to do it. That, and I just think it looks better too, but it reminds me very much of those tassels. So I've glued that down, and now I know I'm going to use that. But I wanted some separation, and I wanted the photo to stand out on something there. So what I did there is I took the vellum there, the gold dot vellum, and that's from 7 paper. It's Amalia. But this is a Studio Calico line, and Studio Calico is no longer producing the 7 line. So just in case you're looking for it, you're not going to be able to find it. But again, those dots are inspired by the polka dots in the coffee or tea cups on the inspiration piece. I didn't talk yet about those doilies, but those are from Recollections. They are from their Gift at Christmas line, so I don't think that you can get those particular ones any longer, just because obviously they don't have Christmas product, but you might be able to find them in the store in the area where they do have a lot of party supplies right next to the scrapbooking area. You might be able to find it. And again, that's from the bread colors in there. I also wanted to use wood on this layout, and I'm just playing a little bit here with a wood frame. I'm thinking that's maybe where I'll put my journaling. And I pulled a card from the Simple Stories wedding. There's a Simple Stories wedding collection. That's what the polka dot card came from. But I didn't like it. I thought it took too much attention away from the photo itself. So what I did is I popped a tag from Amy Tangerine in there, and that is from her Rise and Shine collection. It's the Bits die cut tag. I also now still want to do, and I'm still playing with that what am I going to journal on idea there. And one of the reasons I'm still playing is the tag is a little bit too gray compared to the warmth of the wood and the warmth of the Recollections doilies there. So now I'm toying, do I just use a 3x4 card in there, and I'm not going to do it. I did pull a wood veneer from Fancy Pants there, and it's going to be my title, The Life is Good. I don't have a collection or anything for that. It's just their wood veneer line. So I'm still playing with these cards from the Simple Stories wedding line, and it escapes me what it's called since I don't end up using them in the end anyway. They're just all pulling way too much emphasis away from the photo, and it's such a gorgeous photo. So what I did is I was looking at tags again, and this time I turned the tag over and I saw that doily, and I thought, Oh, love it. It echoes the doily in the Recollections doily, and I just pointed that out to you. So what I'm going to look at now that I kind of have a basic arrangement figured out, I'm going to go cut my navy embossed paper there, because I know it won't get any larger than that. I'm not going to embellish below that title there. So I have that, and now I'm going to play around a little bit. I am going to play around with the position of these doilies for quite a while. And I've decided, like the inspiration piece, there is a, the photo mat is really towards the bottom of the layout, so that's what I'm doing here, is I'm really getting it towards the bottom. And I forgot to tell you, the other reason I use that vellum is because there is more than one layer of paper mat on the layout that I'm scrap lifting. It's just I didn't want to do as many because, again, I didn't want to take away from the beauty of that photo. But that's one of the reasons I use the vellum as well too. All right, so I think I have my doilies positioned, but I will play around with those again once I start playing. The other reason I use those doilies up in the left corner is in the layout of chamels that I'm lifting, there is a cluster in the upper left, in the inspiration layout. It's actually above the large photo mat, but it's a lot of rounded shapes, and they're flowers. In this particular case, the doilies kind of reminded me of that, so that's where I pulled that from as well too. All right, so since I'm lifting a chamel layout, I need to ink edges. I do ink edges quite often anyway because I think it helps blend things together that might be products from different lines. But definitely if I'm doing a chamel layout, a chamel lift, I need to do that. And I use vintage photo most of the time when I'm doing a brown ink. I think that's actually the brown ink she tends to use as well too. And one of the things I just noticed is there was a lot of space to the right of that tag in the big photo mat block, so I'm going to cut off that extra space there. And I will cut it down one more time once I have decided for sure where that life is good goes. Oh, actually, I think it is done. Sorry about that, because now I'm inking. And of course, I never remember to ink things until I've glued them down, but in this particular case, I was kind of lucky because I was working with cardstock and I had only stuck it in one place. It wasn't that hard to pull this up and then to just put it back down. So I can get those edges inked because I really want that background paper there to really pop off as well. So now I have a basic arrangement there that I like. And now I'm looking at embellishments. This is a pack from Chic Tags. It's from the Let's Go collection and it's the Tidbits. And I'm pulling a couple of things here. I'm pulling that geotag and I'm pulling that die cut that says happiness. The reason I'm pulling those is of the kind of rusty color that's in them. And in the inspiration, in the photo with the coffee, there is also a photo of what's probably some sort of ground spice, and it's very rusty colored. So I'm actually pulling that color in as a little bit of an accent. And I honestly am going to struggle with where I'm placing these. I didn't have enough of the rust die cuts left in colors that I thought went with the layout to make the embellishments go the way I really originally visioned them, which was one at the top left there, and then there'll be a cluster where that heart is sitting right now and where I just put that geotag. So I'm going to struggle because of that for a while. Eventually I get it figured out, and then I do something after, and I'm sorry about this, after I shut the camera off, but you'll see what I did in the stills. So what I did there is I thought maybe it was the geotag itself that was bothering me, so I cut the tail end of the geotag off to just try to work with a circle. And I decided here, I was thinking about using hearts on this layout because I heart the photo, and I love this place as well that I took the photo of. I took it from a friend's dock in northern Wisconsin. So what that is that's just a piece of foil paper from Recollections, and I was using a small heart punch from Hobby Lobby and a heart punch medium size from Martha Stewart. So I saw this polka dot bag and thought, oh, maybe I should be using that for my journaling. And again, I decided once I looked at it that it took too much of the focus away. So what I did there, and I am going to cut this down just a little bit more. I'm cutting that edge just so the life is good, so it's a little bit closer to the border of the paper. And I just realized I think I forgot to ink the bottom edge of that. Well, the paper is navy, so you're really not going to be able to tell. And now what I'm doing is I'm looking at these AB tangerine circles here. And they're actually called Mylar Flare, and they're from the Finders Keepers collection. And I like the gold color there. Again, it was the warmth of the bread that inspired a lot of the golden colors on here. But in the cups, on one of them, the polka dots, and there's a really cool almost drip design. It almost looks like those are copper metallic. Now, I didn't use copper here. I used gold instead, although I do have some copper color in there too. I never even thought about that. But that gold, it really kind of struck me, and I wanted to do that. But again, I'm still struggling here. This is one of those layouts. I don't know if it was the pressure of it being my first Crafty Maven layout or what was going on. I just think it was the position of things that I changed it. That happiness together arrow, I'm going to pull off, and you're not going to see it until the stills. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to place it where I just pulled it off of, right on the doily. So look for that at the end. So now I'm again still having trouble that I want to do a cluster over those doilies, but it's bothering me. So these are some My Mind's Eye journaling spots, and I'm going to cut this one because I like the idea of this laying on it. Well, then what happened is I cut it too low. If I had cut it as big as that so it dropped below the story die cut, I would have been fine with it, but I didn't, and I quickly realized it's not going to work for me then. What I'm doing is, at first I was going to try to make this cluster up in the top left a little bit larger. What I'm trying to do is, the layout is weighted to the far right now because there's an embellishment cluster on that tag to the far right. There's a lot of space in the top there, so I want to put something up there to help weight it. And it also gives you a diagonal that comes across the layout where the picture is in the middle, so your eye just kind of reads down and across that layout. So I thought, oh, okay, well, what I'll do here is I have another journaling spot, and it's a square, and I'll do that one instead. But I just don't like how square that is. There's too much white there. I did think about using that circular part of the journaling spot on the right there. But then for me, personally, it shifted it over too much to the left now, and my layout, to my eye, is really off balance. So I abandoned the idea in just a minute of using those journaling spots, and that's where I'm going to do this here. And instead, I go back to the idea of hearts, but this time I'm using one of the smaller hearts. So what I actually did there is I inked it and then I glued it down. And I saw next to me, I had pulled this sheet of Heidi Swap gold foil chipboard, and I pulled the geotag from that. So it's the chipboard shapes from the Hello Beautiful collection. And that cluster up in the top is going to stay just like it is. So I finally settle. I'm feeling much better about the balance in the layout, and I finally put that Mylar flare there, and serendipitously that flare says golden, and that light is so beautiful and so golden. I think it's perfect. I'm going to glue down that wood veneer, the title, with my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive in my fine line bottle. And I'm just holding it down till it adheres, so that it adheres, although that's going to be a little bit of a problem in just a second. I flip it because I haven't glued down that large photo mat yet. Just realized that I forgot to put the cap in, which is dangerous. And the wood veneer comes off. So I'm going to have to just press it back in. And actually it's holding just fine. I just didn't hold it long enough. So I'm getting that taken care of. And now I'm looking at putting some enamel dots on the layout just as a little bit of a finishing touch. And I think about using these gold ones from the October Afternoon Pop Drops from their latest Christmas collection. But then I pulled my own perler bead, homemade perler bead enamel dots, and then I remembered that I had these Amy Tangerine enamel shapes from Finders Keepers, and there's some navy hearts in there, and that is what I'm going to settle on in the end. I'm just about done with the layout here. Like I said, look for that little arrow at the end, and what I'm going to do is, I didn't journal on the page here on camera because I had to look some dates up, so I'll journal, and I just showed it to you right there on the tag. So what I'm doing now is I'm quick grabbing some twine. I believe this is from We Are Memory Keepers. I just bought it at my LSS, and I'll just put that in. That helps with the blue again, and it reminds me of the fibers in the tassels, so that goes back to the inspiration piece as well. Thanks for watching. Like I said, I was so excited to be able to do this video for you today. The link to my channel will be in the description of the video. Hope you are all having a great day. I'm just gluing down some final details. I will have some still photos at the end and some detail shots. Hope your day is doing great. Bye.